is the Octopus Garden, the biggest known aggregation of octopuses on the planet. Here, thousands of creatures have come together in one spot, about 2 miles below the ocean surface. The garden stretches along the coast of Central California, but despite the name, humans didn't create this place. It's all natural. Researchers first stumbled upon thousands of octopuses nesting on the deep ocean floor in 2018, shocking people worldwide. Octopuses in this garden were in really weird positions. They were upside down with their limbs twisted and wrapped around their bodies. It's like someone turned them inside out. Scientists have documented 5,718 octopuses covering an area of 6 acres at the heart of Octopus Garden. According to the team's estimates, the total population in the 820-acre garden could easily exceed 20,000 octopuses. Turns out that these deep-sea octopuses of the Mussooctopus robustus species migrate to the garden for mating and nesting purposes. In other words, they only come here to continue their lineage. They don't do anything else. It all starts when both male and female octopuses arrive at the garden. Females are on the lookout for a warm spot to lay their clutch of around 60 elongated sausage-shaped eggs. While brooding, mothers cover the eggs with their bodies, protecting them from predators getting too close. That's why females contort themselves in such a peculiar way. It's a defensive posture. Throughout the incubation period, females sustain themselves using reserves from their own tissues while also tending to the developing eggs. It's worth noting that the garden discovered in California is the largest gathering of octopuses ever found by scientists. So basically, there are other gardens like that, which they also call nurseries because octopuses breed there. Another nursery was discovered not far from the coast of Costa Rica. However, the discovery in California still amazed scientists. Firstly, because of the sheer number of octopuses, and secondly, these creatures are typically solitary, preferring cool water. Everything scientists saw didn't quite match up with the information already known. These octopuses were sitting on a hydrothermal vent. The heat from the vent helps eggs develop faster. It's simple. The colder the water, the slower the embryos develop. Researchers studying the garden expected octopus eggs to hatch in about 5 to 8 years at freezing point or possibly later. Surprisingly, the baby octopuses emerged in less than 2 years instead. The warmth from thermal vents boosted the metabolism of both the mother octopuses and their offspring, reducing the incubation time. Regular 5 to 8 years carry too many risks for offspring. Turning from an egg to an octopus is no easy feat. Large gatherings of octopuses like the garden attract predators. Living alongside nesting females is a diverse community of invertebrates that certainly welcome unhatched eggs and vulnerable hatchlings, especially since there isn't much food at great depths. There's also the risk of injuries and infections lurking around. Basically, it's tough being small at the bottom of the sea. A mother octopus only has a limited amount of time to protect her eggs because her own body's resources are running low. The longer it takes for the octopuses to hatch, the higher the chance that the mother won't make it. The shorter the incubation period, the better the chances for the offspring to survive, and the more time the mother has to protect them. So picking up the pace seems like a smart move. Just so you know, based on different information, natural incubation without any heating can actually take anywhere from 5 to 10 years, or even more. So the fact that the garden's offspring pulled it off in 2 years means they did it 5 times faster. It's sort of like if human pregnancy only lasted less than 2 months instead of 9. Hopefully, something like this will be possible someday. Someone might wonder, how did scientists dive so deep into the ocean and study it for so long? Do they have their own version of Steve? Well, it's all thanks to modern tech. Researchers set up a camera at the bottom, snapping pics and telling octopuses apart by their scars and quirks. Turns out all the octopuses in the garden were adult males and females ready to reproduce. Their numbers were growing, but there were no youngsters or teens around until the offspring hatched. Okay, let's figure out why the temperature is higher in the garden, causing the octopus babies to grow faster. Just to remind you, it's located about 2 miles beneath the ocean surface, on a little hill close to the foot of the underwater Davidson Mountain. And it's this mountain that's the key factor because it's a dormant underwater volcano. The water around here is a chilly 35 degrees Fahrenheit, which is quite cold. But in the octopus garden, it's a different story. The water heats up to a toasty 52 degrees. When scientists first found the octopus garden, they saw something they called shimmering water. This happens when warm and cool waters mix, suggesting undiscovered thermal springs nearby. Further research conducted by scientists has confirmed that octopus nests are located in crevices bathed by hydrothermal vents. In other words, female octopuses have chosen the warmest spots for incubating their eggs. How do hydrothermal vents work in general? It's simple. Water seeping beneath the ocean floor takes heat from the Earth's mantle, then comes out through volcanic rocks like Davidson Volcano. Unlike hydrothermal vents, which form on the crests of ridges and shoot out streams of hot water, making them easy to spot, these thermal springs are truly mysterious. They release warm water that dissipates just a few feet above the seafloor, making them very difficult to locate. They can only be found thanks to that faint shimmering. Those octopuses in the garden hit the jackpot with the temperature being perfect. Down below, there are some seriously hot springs. If a female octopus were to lay her eggs there, they'd cook in a flash, like hard-boiled egg quick, if one can say so. At the same time, cold water's like putting the brakes on for octopuses, no matter how old they are. Octopuses are ectotherms, i.e. cold-blooded creatures, so deep sea temperatures slow down their metabolism, which basically means the chemical reactions happening inside their cells. Simply put, it's how their bodies get energy from the environment to grow, develop, and reproduce. So all the important stuff needs that energy. Faster metabolism means more energy for the body. For octopuses, this surplus energy from warmth is used for nurturing their eggs. And the greater the energy, the faster baby octopuses emerge. However, everything has its limits. You can't crank up the temperature even higher and expect octopuses to speed up so much that they hatch in just a week and become adults right away. According to research conducted on the octopus Maya species, if the water temperature exceeds 80 degrees Fahrenheit, female octopuses stop laying eggs altogether. And if they've already laid some, those eggs die within a few days. Like most other cephalopods, the octopuses in the garden die after mating. The males die immediately while the females die after hatching their offspring. Having so many dead animals in one place is like a feast for scavengers, or more like a buffet. They'll always have food no matter what happens. It's not like some females, for example, get lucky and survive one breeding cycle, then decide to go for another. During the entire incubation period, which by the way lasts a full 2 years, females don't hunt at all. They simply don't eat and depend entirely on what they've already stockpiled before reaching their maternal phase. In the meantime, invertebrates await the end of their incubation. In this video, for instance, you can see a sea anemone devouring a dead octopus. The waiting paid off. The self-destruction of female octopuses, regardless of their species or habitat, is a topic that fascinates scientists greatly. While many animal species die after reproducing, the behavior of octopus mothers stands out for its disturbing nature. Not only do they stop eating, but some actively seek to end their own lives using any means possible. Once they've fulfilled their reproductive duties, these females may bash themselves against rocks, tear at their own skin, and even consume fragments of their own tentacles. It looks like utter madness. Researchers have now found chemicals that seem to regulate this behavior. After an octopus lays its eggs, there are changes in its body. The production of steroid hormones increases, and then there's a biochemical shift that seals its fate. But that's a topic for another video. Let's head back to the garden. A time-lapse camera captured how nesting females push away octopus carcasses to keep scavengers from getting too close to their eggs. Despite having enough food already, scavengers are always on the hunt for more, especially in the depths of the sea where food is scarce. Big scavengers like giant grenadiers, a cusk eel, whelks, and sea anemones feast on octopus remains. They must feel pretty happy down there, as the garden offers 72% more food for scavengers compared to the surrounding waters. These scavengers, fish, shrimp, sea stars, and snails build a thriving ecosystem sustained by deceased octopuses. Meanwhile, in similar rocky underwater areas, the animal population is less varied and less dense. As the hatchlings emerge, they head off to survive and grow up elsewhere. The mother dies, eaten by scavengers, and a new female promptly takes her place. Remember, they pick crevices for nests, cozy and warm spots, but there's only so many. Plus, as smart as octopuses are, they're unlikely to worry over who died in that spot. Nature is cruel. It has one goal: to ensure offspring come into the world, and everything else doesn't matter. A new cycle begins. Until recently, scientists thought that groups of octopuses were something unusual, like a rare find, almost an exception to the rules. But nowadays, octopus gardens are popping up more and more often, and they're not always clustered together. It seems like this phenomenon is more common than we thought. As of today, researchers have identified 5 deep-sea octopus nurseries, 2 off the coast of Central California, 2 off the coast of Costa Rica, and 1 near Vancouver Island in Canada. The first nursery was discovered in Costa Rica in 2013. The cluster of more than 100 octopuses was in a hydrothermal spring located about 100 miles off the Pacific coast of Costa Rica at a depth of 10,000 feet. These octopuses also incubated eggs, but not a single clutch survived. The second discovered octopus nursery was the one near Davidson Mountain, the one we mentioned in our video. Then in 2019, another one was discovered not far from Sada. When we say not too far, we mean about 10 miles away. which is quite a journey for octopuses. Just recently, in 2023, scientists discovered a new nursery in Costa Rica, followed by another one in Canada. Let's take a closer look at the most recent nursery. It all began with methane bubbles bubbling up from the ocean floor, bursting through. This creates carbonate rocks, which later become homes for animals. Despite the cold, these places are where Granellodon pacifica octopuses have chosen to raise their young. It just so happens that this deep-sea creature holds the record for the longest incubation period. The female takes care of her nest for 4.5 years. Perhaps other animals from our video would have broken this record if not for the dormant volcano that warmed them up. One of the most intriguing mysteries for scientists is how octopuses manage to find their nurseries. They might stumble upon a future nursery by accident and decide it's a great place, or they might discover it, remember the location, and then return when it's time to reproduce. It remains a mystery how far octopuses migrate to nesting sites and whether they return to their birthplace like salmon. Octopuses have a keen sense of smell, allowing them to track the scent of many of their deceased relatives, even if they've been eaten by some anemones. It seems like these places definitely need protection, and sure thing, Davidson Seamount and its octopus garden are being protected as part of the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary. Climate change, fishing, and mining pose threats to deep-sea areas. Protecting the unique environment where deep-sea animals gather to feed or reproduce is critical. Yet effective protection requires a careful study of the garden. Scientists are currently on it because, despite prior research efforts, many intriguing aspects remain unexplored. Today, within the boundaries of the wildlife reserve, it's prohibited to search for or extract oil, gas, or any other valuable minerals. Also, drilling, any kind of digging, and constructing buildings are not allowed. If a ship accidentally runs aground in this area, it cannot be abandoned. Anchoring the ship and leaving it unattended is not allowed, and neither is leaving any harmful substances on board. Disposing of substances is also prohibited, as well as interacting with local species, introducing non-native ones, attracting great white sharks, using motorboats, and even flying too low over the water. This list isn't nearly complete. It might be best to avoid that area altogether to prevent accidentally breaking any rules, because they take monitoring all the rules in the reserve really seriously. They patrol by land, air, and sea. They use small boats and big patrol ships to protect the area, and the rangers keep a close eye on literally everything. Most individual violations usually occur in small areas and happen within a short period. However, some types of violations happen frequently throughout the reserve, like the hunting of marine mammals or birds. Punishments fail to stop people. Breaking the rules in the reserve can lead to civil penalties of up to $140,000 per day. Besides fines, those who break the rules might have to foot the bill for cleaning up their mess and restoring the natural surroundings. Any gear involved in the violation, like boats, tools, or equipment, could get seized until the court sorts things out. When rules are broken in a wildlife reserve, it often means breaking other federal and state laws too. This can lead to fines, the possibility of having property taken away, getting arrested, and even facing criminal charges. Just so you know, interfering with law enforcement officers' investigations or activities within the reserve is also considered a criminal offense. It's amazing how scientists weren't scared to study octopuses.